In today's video, we're going to take a look at fitting the Sena SRL3 intercom kit into the Neotec 3. This kit is also designed to fit into the GTF 3 as well, so both of the touring focused 2206 helmets from Shoei. This intercom kit has been designed to fit into it. It's been incredibly popular. We've done a huge amount of them. We also do a lot of fitting in store, so if this guide doesn't get you anywhere or you need a little bit more help with things, feel free to pop in store, give us a ring, drop an email. We can always get some pictures or a bit of advice sent over to you. So first off, let's have a look at disassembling the helmet, getting everything ready to have the intercom kit installed into it. So the first step in getting ready to fit the Shoei intercom system is obviously removing the interior padding. So once your chin clasp is undone and fed through the cheek pads, you can start by removing the cheek pads. I have got a video just quickly covering the basis of how to remove the pad, so if any point you get stuck, but I'll just take a quick look over it again. Pulling the cheek pad from the top down, you'll hear pop, pop, and pop. Same thing on the other side, just 3 clips. And then pull the cheek pad from the front all the way to the back. Away comes one. And out comes the second pad as well. The next step in removing pieces from the helmet to be replaced by the intercom themselves is actually these side shrouds that are put on standard by the Shoei manufacturers, but they are designed to be removed when using this SRL3 kit. You've got one on each side and a main one on the rear, which is for your battery unit. All of those are pretty quick to get out. I will show you quickly how they do. You have a small lever back here. You want to pull towards the helmet and roll up at the same time. They can be a little bit stiff when they're brand new, but it's nothing too difficult. So once they're popped out, a lift from the rear, and you'll notice there's almost a hinge at the front of this, and they pull and slide backwards. I'll just show you that again over on this side. Pulling that little lever up allows you to pop the plastic out of its groove, lift up from the rear, pull back away from the helmet. The rear isn't too different as well. You've got a lever on the back that you simply just press down, and this pops it out. The foam inside does need to be removed, as this is where our battery unit is going to be sitting for the intercom kit. Keep all of these safe to one side. If you ever need to remove the intercom kit or something happens, you can replace all of these parts, and it just stops the helmet looking a bit unfinished, and it stops any dirt ingress as well into some of the integral parts of the helmet. The final piece of the helmet that just needs to be removed is some speaker cup infills that are put in. They're just held in by some plastic clips, so a light pull on both of those and they'll come out of place. So the next thing to do is to get into your intercom system, pop everything out, and we'll grab everything that we need for this one. The flip-up helmets from Shoei are always recommended to run the boom microphone, so obviously when the chin bar is open, you still have the microphone sticking out the front. If you're running the GTF 3, the full-face version, the dot microphone included in the box with the intercom kit is the one that you want to be using. They do have a dedicated groove in the front of the GTF 3s for that microphone, as well as the Neotec 3s has a dedicated channel for its boom microphone to sit into. So now that we've got everything that we need ready to go, the first thing you can do is to pull all of the wiring out of its tray. Pop this to one side, and we can start by fitting the main battery unit into the helmet, and then we can work with the rest of the wiring from there. So with the main battery unit, you want to slot it into the rear. These 2 little rubber flaps either side can be lifted up to allow the wires to tuck in a bit neater, but once they are up and out of the way, you'll hear a nice positive click, and that'll be the intercom kit locked down and into its final position. So just making sure those 2 rubber grips, and that's it. That's locked in place. It's not coming out. It's not going anywhere. You will see the little charging port just on the rear. It is a Type-C fast charging, so it's always a nice bonus to have for some modern tech. Next thing I like to get clipped into place is the side units themselves. Obviously one side is going to be your main control, if you will, and the opposing side is the mesh intercom function. Same way that we removed them, the front end is on almost like a hinge system. You want to get almost the nose of the clip locked into place and then follow it down until you hear a nice click. I always just like to go around, double press to make sure. If this lever on the rear isn't all the way to the back, you know that you're not fully locked into place. I'll just show you the same thing over on this side. So again, getting that front end locked down and into place, pushing, and as you can see there, it's almost not fully locked in. One more click, and it's all the way to the back. So next on our list of things to fit, we'll get the speakers locked into place, just so they're one more thing that's out of the way for us. They sit into their groove on the inside of the helmet. They are just a push in place, so there's not too much really to mess about with. Once they're in, a good click down, and that's it locked. The opposite side speaker has a little bit more to it, as obviously this is your connection for the microphone. I'll show you that quickly and getting everything plugged and wired in. So now the microphone's out, take your connector. You will notice one side on here has a little angled groove and one side is a flat open portion. Make sure you line them up correctly. It is pretty foolproof. One way will go in, one way won't go in. And then it's almost the same process. Grab the speaker into its small recess in there, a nice push into place, and it's locked. And then for the microphone itself, you want to look for the slightly larger wiring groove that's been opened up towards the front, and just give your microphone a firm push into place. And that's it, secured, locked away, and we're ready to move on to the rest of the wiring. So now for the tricky part of it, actually feeding all of the antennas as well as the groove locators into the unit without getting anything caught. So the two side antennas, you want to look for the back of the EPS pad that the cheek locks into, and you want to slide up the inside, giving just a gentle wiggle, and it will pop itself down into place. The groove, or the L shape if you will, on the back of these is designed to lock around the back of this corner here. So once you've got that, make sure that you are tucked as nice as you can and it's snug against the back of this EPS pad here. The two locators, just slide them into the gap just to the side of those. There's not too much you can really do with them. It's just keeping them locked down and in place. Same thing over on the other side. Get this one slid into the little gap located on the sides, and away they're both in. So now it's time to get the cheek pads back in, which is famously quite a difficult part of fitting these intercom kits. They do require a little bit of fiddling, and there is some wires to make sure that you don't snag or catch on. So replacing the cheek pads into it, the same way that we covered before. The rear of the cheek pad always goes in first, and then it's just a case of tucking that plastic loop around and locking the front one in. Obviously this is a little bit more difficult now that you've got the wiring for the intercom kit into place, so you want to just take a bit more time to make sure that you're not snagging or catching on anything. However, it is a little bit of manhandling to get things into place, but once the rear is slotted down, you will feel it slide backwards, and then it's just a case of working the front of that cheek pad all the way around. The cabling for this actual side piece here, give yourself a little bit of extra up the top. This will allow it to be fed into the side of the pad itself, stopping anything from getting caught or going tight onto things, and just a good push forwards locks your cheek pad into place. Pulling things tight, the same 3 clips as last time on the inside, just make sure that you get them all lined up. The left hand side of the helmet isn't too bad to do, as obviously you don't have any microphone wires or anything to worry about on the inside, and it's just a case of clipping things down and in place. Moving over onto the left hand side, you do have a bit more just to be careful with, making sure that you're not catching the microphone in its groove, and it's almost the same process again, getting that rear slot in first and working your way around to the front. So now that both cheek pads are in, we'll finish off with this side, just getting things clipped and secured. And then the only bit left to do is get the microphone cover 2 of in the box as well, and just get that slotted over the top. Intercom's all fitted, all sorted, job done. We do a huge amount of these in store, so any questions, if you get stuck, a bit confused or lost in the process, you're welcome to pop into the store. We're happy to fit these for you. Also happy to send over any advice or queries you might have about the Intercom kits itself. We might take a look in the future at doing the GTF3 version of this as well, just covering the minor differences between the fitting styles on both Intercom kits, but any other ones in the future, let us know. We'll have a good look into those, and we can always do some more fitment guides for you.